So this is the first time I've ever brined a pork, butt to try to barbecue it, to try to make it a little more tender. They say that when you boil that salt, something like 4 tablespoons to 3 or 4 cups of water. I just kind of did whatever, put a little bit of seasonings, rosemary, a little black pepper, garlic, and just let it sit overnight in the refrigerator. So the barbecue we've been doing lately has been good, but especially toward the bone area, it's been kind of tough. So let's see if this actually works. So I dry rubbed it after putting a little bit of olive oil on it with some black pepper, garlic powder, paprika, and brown sugar. And I put some of my spices on the actual charcoal. It gives it a nice smell and flavor, especially that paprika. Drizzle just a little bit of Wild Turkey bourbon whiskey on it, but we don't want to put so much on it that it washes away the brown sugar. Whee! It's not as easy to do when you're filming it one-handed, but I'm going to kind of spread it with my hand here. Get all that bourbon mixed in with that brown sugar and spices. So we're about 3 hours in and it looks good. Natalie really likes this Sticky Fingers Kentucky bourbon barbecue sauce, but the kids really don't like it. What I found is, I don't have any today, but we will put this on at the end of the cooking process, and then we have to give, the kids. So we add this in the end when we're cutting everything up and putting it in the meat as we, pull it or chop it, and then put a squirt on top, of the bun. The kids do not like the Sticky Fingers, when we do it like that. So, but they don't really notice when we just cook this in first. Natalie isn't really a fan of whiskey type barbecue sauces, at least until we found this one. We're about 4 hours and 20 minutes in and it looks good. There's still a little bit of coals there, so we're just going to go ahead and put it directly on those coals. Try to cook it a little bit on the hot side. It's always hard to penetrate a big old thick piece like that of pork. So check this out. We got it on the hot coals. Hear that sizzling? That's one of the reasons why we put the fat side on the top for the most part of the cooking process. And I put some more brown sugar there, so it drizzles, it kind of just melts over the side and to the bottom of the meat. And actually the fat creates hotter coals when you put it over top of it, so it moisturizes and flavors the whole pork by doing that. But we do turn it over as well and cook it to make sure we got it like an even cooking. So if you have charcoal or something that just won't get fiery hot, you could always put fat side down temporarily. Even when you do like hamburgers or something, put those hamburgers over top of the coals. Once it starts dripping, the charcoal gets hotter and hotter and it catches better. You can always put it back to the other side once you get it nice and hot. So we flipped it over, put some sauce on it, put a little bit more brown sugar and a little bit more spices on it. What I have learned is that if you put a second thing of brown sugar on it after that first one, it seems to be even better, even sweeter. So I don't know how much is too much. There may not be too much, but 2 coats seem to do really good, enhancing that sweet flavor that you want, unless you want like something super sour, like a Carolina, style barbecue, like vinegar and mustard flavored, which I don't like. So far, we've smoked it away from the coals for 4.5 hours, and we've had it on the coals for about 47 minutes, and it looks really red and nice. So we're at the 5.5 hour mark of cooking it. I put the fat side back on the top again to have it drain down, put a little bit more charcoal in it. Still not happy with how kind of tough it is. So Wild Turkey is definitely a flavorful bourbon, but it is very harsh. Possibly more harsh than Jim Beam. Doesn't mean that you can't use it to cook with, right? I'll relay a little story. Me, a Florida boy, I really like bourbon, and a lot of people around here drank like Smirnoff or Absolute Vodka or Lord Calvert, which is really nasty, you know. In hindsight, you know, that's some nasty stuff. But I went to Texas, and we had a little birthday party up there, and when we went to the local liquor store, they didn't have a whole lot of bourbons, because people in Texas generally don't drink bourbon. But I found, I think it was Wild Turkey, you know, 101 proof bourbon or something like that, and I bought a bottle, and everybody looked at me and said, why, you know, why would you buy that nasty stuff? And then they pulled out this tequila, and I wasn't really a tequila drinker, you know. I think I drank it maybe one time in the past before, an off-brand, but I think it was Jose Cuervo here, something like this. And I took one shot, and I said, how in the hell can you drink this nasty stuff? And y'all are taking shots, y'all aren't even mixing this stuff. And this is what they think is good in Texas. But, you know, bourbon is what I think is good in Florida. Of course, you have a lot of rum drinkers as well. Bacardi is super popular, especially for mixed drinks. This stuff here is some of the most pungent tasting alcohol, you know, and it's so strange, the flavor. I have had like moonshines, legal and illegal moonshines in the past that have sort of that tequila-esque flavor, but not as pungent as like Jose Cuervo. 7.5 hours cooking. Well, let's see what it's gonna do. So 7.5 hours wasn't long enough to cook that guy. It still had some blood and, you know, stuff in the middle. So we're gonna try to pressure cook it for 10 minutes. You can smell the smell that's coming out of this pressure cooker. Oh my God. Let's cross our fingers. Well, we had to Instapot it twice, but it's finally where it needs to be, I think. All right, here's Natalie trying it for the first time.
Daddy, I want a summer.
Was that the best one yet? Pretty good. I finally got it at a decent tenderness level.
So good.
The fat just kind of melts in your mouth. It's not like a globular, like, piece of leather or whatever. Right? Pretty good. Instapotting it at the end kind of watered down some of the flavors. So I think next time maybe we need to try to Instapot it first and then put it on the grill, maybe on some aluminum foil so it doesn't like fall through the grill. Oh boy. Is it good, JJ? Is it good, Jonathan? Yum, yum, yum. Good? All right, we got a holdout here. Charlie doesn't want to eat.
I think she's the same.
Eat, Charlie, eat. Go. Go, Charlie, go. Charlie, try your bite here. Big bite, big bite. Open up wide. Dave didn't even get any meat, Charlie. Are you embarrassing yourself on camera? Charlie.
Yeah, that's why you don't.